Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Hot Seat with Hinson. I'm Congresswoman Ashley Hinson from Iowa's 1st Congressional District, running in the new 2nd Congressional District. And I am so pleased today to have a fabulous candidate joining us for Congress. State Senator Jen Kiggans out of Virginia is running in Virginia's 2nd District to help flip that seat from blue to red. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so proud to support you. I've been out to your district to ask your people to support you too, because I think it's just that important that we have truly qualified citizen legislators coming to work in Congress. And I need you by my side there so we can help fire Nancy Pelosi. But could you tell me, Jen, and everyone watching today, a little bit more about your race specifically, and a little bit more about you?
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks for having me today. And thank you so much for coming out to Virginia Beach a few months ago. It was great to have you out here and just to have that support. So thank you for that. So I'm running to represent Virginia's 2nd Congressional District, which is the Hampton Roads area in Virginia Beach, Eastern Shore. With redistricting, it got a little bit bigger, a lot more conservative. It's more Republican now, so it's great. So it's definitely a top race for the Republican Party and a seat that we need to flip to get the U.S. House majority back this year. So we're super excited about that. A little bit about me. I'm a former Navy pilot. I flew helicopters in the Navy for 10 years, flew H-46s and H-3s, 10 of the best years of my life. Met my husband who flies F-18s and deployed a couple times to the Persian Gulf. Got out of the military to be a stay-at-home mom to 4 children, where I was able to be a Navy spouse and just a full-time mom and get my kids to school and pay our bills and run the house. So I certainly understand all those challenges. And then used my GI Bill and went back to nursing school and then went to Vanderbilt to get my nurse practitioner degree and currently practice as an adult geriatric nurse practitioner in primary care and have done just a lot of work in nursing homes, assisted living, memory care. So those are a group of people that I'm just love to be an advocate for our greatest generation. They're often a voiceless group, and just really looking forward this year to running for Congress. I ran for the state Senate in 2019, and that was a tough year for Republicans in Virginia. It was the year of the blue wave here, but a great victory in the state Senate. And I've certainly learned a lot about one-party rule. We've had a Democrat-controlled House, Senate, and governor for the first 2 years of my term. And really, it was a jewelry store smash and grab. They came in and got whatever they wanted, and the governor signed it. So I lived through that kind of danger and insanity of one-party political rule. And I see the same thing happening up in D.C., and it's a fight you guys have on a daily basis. That's same danger and insanity, that same far left progressive agenda that we need the majority back because numbers matter and every vote counts. So I want to be a part of that group that comes in and helps to get you guys the majority in the U.S. House and fire Nancy Pelosi once and for all.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head here. This Democrat majority, and it's the Democrat Party of today, has taken the country in the wrong direction. And we continue to see these progressive priorities play out, telling parents they don't matter, telling taxpayers they don't matter, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what we continue to see with these policies that continue to spur record high inflation and gas prices that are through the roof. I mean, your district is, I'm sure, not immune to those challenges. And so I'm sure you're hearing about those issues everywhere you go. Democrats who I talk to say they feel like the Democrat Party today has left them. And so we tell them, hey, there's a place for common sense Republican policies in Congress. And I'm proud to fight for those. And I know you will be as well. And I think it's really important to talk about another issue. We have growing ranks of Republican women in Congress right now. I look at a lot of my colleagues that came in 2020. We were just getting started with that Republican women red wave, but we understand that there is more work to do there. But I think it's crucial. You talk about your background, Jen. You fit the people of your district, and it's important to have you there to tell stories, common sense stories about the life experiences you have. So I think it's great to have more conservative women in Congress, and I'm sure you hear that throughout your district too.
Very much so. I was watching when you all were elected 2 years ago, and I was watching even before that, and I said, where are the Republican women? We were so few in numbers, I think down to 13 at one point, and the Democrats were light years ahead up in the 80s. And that really spurred my interest in politics and just in running for elected office in general, because there are conservative women out there and we are not represented well. And as a conservative female veteran, where are they? And there's really just one, I think, in the U.S. House right now. So my district is a huge veteran population. And I really feel strongly just about being not just a woman, but a veteran and a good conservative in the state of Virginia as well. Interestingly, we have 3 women who are Democrats who represent Virginia up in the U.S. House. Elaine Luria, who I'm running against, and then Abigail Spanberger and Jennifer Wexton. We have no Republican women that represent the conservative women of Virginia. So we've got to elect a Republican woman. This is the year to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's high time Virginians have a Republican woman in Congress. And we are very lucky here in Iowa to have 2 women veterans serving in Washington, D.C. We have Senator Joni Ernst and we have Congresswoman Mariannette Miller Meeks. So we have great representation for our veterans here in Iowa. And I'm so proud of your record of standing up for veterans in Virginia, and look forward to adding you to our conversations about veterans issues in Washington, D.C. That is so important. And they need to be the right policies, right? And that's really what our focus is on helping, whether or not it's parents or veterans or senior citizens. It has to be the right policies, and that's where I know you have that experience to draw on. You talk about inflation and the impact on our veteran community. It's huge, right? I mean, many people are living on fixed incomes, and that really is digging into their bottom line. So, can you talk about what you've heard a little bit on some of those key issues from your experience?
Well, the economy and the record-breaking inflation is affecting everyone: Republicans, Democrats, independents, veterans, non-veterans. I mean, every single American is impacted by this. So it's an issue that we need to address. What are we going to do? What are the Republicans going to do once we regain the majority this year, to curb some of that inflation? Because Americans will want to see results from us. So I'm excited to help you guys get that majority so we can get some things done. I'd like to see some more energy independence, because everything is really, a lot of it is stemming from these ridiculous gas prices that we're all paying. My kids used to ask for $20 to fill up their old Civic that they drive to high school week, and now it's costing about $60 to fill up my kids' Honda Civic so they can drive to their school and activities. And that's 3 times more than I have been paying. So we're all feeling that at the pump. So that we're getting some of that energy independence with reopening the Keystone Pipeline, finding some domestic oil production sources. Those are things we need to push for. We also need to really watch our spending up in DC. I really think money grows on trees up there is the message that I'm getting with the amount of spending that's coming out of the Biden administration. And we've got to stop paying people to stay home. We paid people not only on the state level, but we paid people extra from some of the stimulus money that the Congresswoman I'm running against voted for. This is ridiculous amounts of spending. Some of the priorities that the Democrats have brought to the table, Build Back Better, is an example of just some of this trillions of dollars worth of spending. If we don't find places to cut costs and reduce our deficit, and at least have a goal of working towards a more balanced budget, then we're going to see inflation continue to rise, and we're going to get to that recession that we're all worried about.
Right. Well, and unfortunately, we're already seeing those signs of an economy contracting and that record high inflation paired together. These are not coincidences in my mind. These are the predictable results of policies that put our country last and focused on woke priorities over the future of our country. And that you're exactly right, Jen. We have to focus on looking at the future long term and lay out a plan to do that. And it's not something that is going to be fixed overnight. We need to be putting out a long-term vision for the future of our success of our country, because this is about the future of our kids. This is about that next generation and the generation after that, because I know it's not lost on me that the decisions we are making today in Congress will impact generation after generation. And I'm still hopeful that the greatest generation is yet to come. I hope that for my kids and my grandkids and for the generations that follow, that everything can be better. Freedom and opportunity can be available for every single American, no matter what their background. And so I know that you'll continue to fight that fight to help get our country back on track. How do you think the military perspective will help you to cut through some of this red tape that exists within our federal government?
Yeah, it's always a priority in my mind, as a veteran, as a Navy spouse, as a mother now to veterans. I have a son who's a junior at the Naval Academy and one who's a freshman in ROTC at VMI. So I now think of my children and the decisions that we're making for our military and how that will impact my kids and their friends. So I want a seat at that table. I want to be a voice in some of that decision-making the progress that we will see. I'll say this for the 2nd District in Virginia. We have one of the largest populations of veterans in the country, and we care, right? We care what happened in Afghanistan in the fall, that withdrawal that was a ridiculous way to leave a country that killed 13 servicemen and women, that we need to continue to remind people about. They did not need to die that day. So we are disappointed. It was failed leadership. It was weak leadership. We're at a point now where our friends aren't trusting us as much, and our enemies certainly aren't fearing us as much. And a result of that weak leadership and leading from behind, we're seeing some of the aggression that's happened, for example, in the Ukraine and Russia. So we've got to do a better job of building up strength in our nation and being that deterrent that I know that we are. And that's the military that I come from. My dad was a Vietnam veteran as well. So I bring those perspectives. And, I'm a big peace through strength girl. So it's that perspective alone, with a lot of common sense added in and a lot of different backgrounds, just as a mom, a healthcare professional. But those are the things I bring to the table that really just weigh in on all the decisions I make. And I'm excited to use all my backgrounds to just put good policy in place in DC.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate you bringing up those challenges that we face both in Afghanistan and obviously now with the situation happening and unfolding daily in Ukraine. We need to be strong, right, on the global stage. And what we've seen is reactive policies instead of proactive policies, and that's unfortunately set our country and our global relations up for many, many challenges. And so I think we need to be very, very clear about where we stand as a country to continue to express that strength, and we need to have a strong military to make sure we're focused on the basics here, which is safety, security, and freedom. If we don't have that, then all is lost. So we should all be fighting for that as a shared value going forward to protect our country and protect our future. So for people who are watching today who want to learn more about your campaign and your race for Congress, where can they go find out more about you, Jen?
So we're on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram. I think we have a Twitter account for Jen Kiggans. And then our website is www.jenforcongress, so JENFOR Congress.com. You can sign up for all of our emails and social media. We try to keep current every day. So would love for you guys to follow the campaign. It's going to be one to watch. It's definitely a top race in the country. It'll be the only race in the country where two women veterans are running against each other. So it's going to be an awesome victory in November. I'll say that.
Well, absolutely. Look forward to having you serve with me in Congress. I'm 100% behind you. Let us know if we can ever do anything to help. And I know Iowans are ready to see a conservative majority in Congress, because this is about Iowa values, which are heartland values, which are American values. And that is something we all definitely share in a priority here. And we want to see that leadership change and fire Nancy Pelosi come November. So Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, thank you everybody for watching this edition of Hot Seat with Hinson. We'll see you again soon.
Great. Thanks so much, Ashley. Take care.